one that was 35 minutes away from her. Sandy also showed up at my grandma's bank on the exact day that my grandma decided to open a savings account for her grandkids. Sandy asked my grandma what she was doing, and when my grandma told her, Sandy launched into a fit because, what about my daughter? She's technically your grandkid too. Sandy and my uncle had only been dating about 3 months at that point. Just as my grandma was about to say something, the bank security came over and asked if my grandma was okay. They knew her from decades of her banking there, as well as all of her kids and grandkids. So when my grandma said no, they immediately escorted Sandy out. Shortly after that, my grandma moved states to live with my aunt, and so far that's been the last stalking incident. On Thanksgiving, we all did a Zoom dinner instead of having a big gathering. About a half hour into the meal, my uncle's phone starts going crazy. It's Sandy. She starts demanding to know why she wasn't invited and goes into full tantrum mode. So my uncle caves and sends her the link. As soon as she gets on, Sandy starts screaming, and her 12-year-old daughter, Amy, is running around in the background screaming and crying that it isn't fair. Sandy starts calling all of us selfish bastards, and then her husband starts yelling at us that we can't do this to his wife. My grandma had had enough of Sandy and scolded her. See, this is why nobody here likes you. This is why we do everything without you. This is why I'm so glad that you and that rabbit kid of yours aren't invited to my granddaughter's wedding. No big dramatic ending on this one. We just ended the call because everyone was super angry. We decided to do another one without my uncle this time, and that was fine. Wait, OP, wait. Your uncle's dating a married woman, and her husband gets on the Zoom call to yell at you that you didn't invite his wife to the family dinner? I mean, I get that they're apparently separated, or some couples just aren't monogamous, so maybe the husband's totally cool with it. But in what universe is it appropriate for a husband to yell at her wife's boyfriend's family about not inviting his wife to their family events?
You hearing this, brother?
Like
somewhat.
Our next Reddit post is from John. I'm a 30-year-old man, and the other day I got lucky and managed to get hold of a PS5, which is like gold dust in the UK at the moment. Work has been ridiculous this year, and my PS4 broke a few months back, so to say that I'm hyped for my PS5 and some holiday downtime is an understatement. The console finally arrived the other day and was left with my neighbor. I knocked on their door, thinking they were taking a parcel and exchanging pleasantries, when my neighbor casually asked if it was anything nice, and I told her it was a PS5. We had the usual small talk, and I went back inside, thinking nothing of it. Later, I had a knock on the door from her husband. He said that his wife mentioned that I'd gotten a PS5, and they wanted one for their 7-year-old son. It was all his son wanted this year, and it's been a tough year for his son since he hasn't been able to see his friends much. So, would I consider selling it to them for what I bought it for? I said I understood, but I really didn't want to sell it because I was a little more than convenient. That's when things got a bit weird. He huffed a little and said that Christmas should be about kids, and I should really consider how hard it's been for them, and he offered me an extra 50 pounds. I said I wouldn't be selling it for any price. I wasn't looking to make money on it. I just really wanted to play it. He left, but he said that he hoped that I'd reconsider because you and I are a bit old for video games anyway, and walked off.
I fucking hate that argument so much. People fucking say you're too old for video game type of shit. Fucking Christ.
Yeah.
He comes over again, this time with his son. He said that his son really wanted to see the PS5 that he heard about. The boy then said to me that he really wanted for Christmas, and he hoped Santa would get him one. I replied that hopefully he would, but it's really busy for him this year, so he might have to wait a little bit longer for it. But if not, I'm sure he gets something nice instead. Another day passes, and my fiancé said that they posted something weird on social media. We're in a neighborhood group about how they had thought 2020 would have made people less selfish and more giving. But they were disappointed in the neighborhood, which had forgotten community spirit and how people should be more thoughtful towards the kids on the street because of how much they've suffered this year. Based off of that, my fiancé asked if I should sell them the console just to keep the peace. Later in that day, they came around again to tell me that they had promised their son that he'd be getting a PS5 for Christmas, and now it would be ruined if he didn't get one. My neighbor said, "You're an adult and should be thinking of kids at Christmas, not acting like one playing video games," and that I was being unbelievably selfish and cruel. The husband added, I don't know how you can enjoy Christmas knowing that you're horrible people that ruined a 7-year-old's Christmas. Now, I've heard from people on the street that our neighbors have been talking trash about us to people. Though most neighbors are just staying out of bed, but we're definitely getting some daggers from the Moms Who Lunch crew. We live in a super nice neighborhood, but it's firmly middle class. Lots of private school kids called Hattie and Sebastian, etc. We're definitely the youngest on the street and the weird childless couple, which I don't think PS5 Gate is helping with. My fiance just wants to sell it to them to end it, but I'm still trying to hold firm. Honestly, I feel like I'm losing my mind at this point. OP, this is BS. They talk about community spirit. When was the last time you benefited from community spirit? Does your neighbor mow your lawn? Did they bring over freshly baked goods when you moved in? No, I doubt it. What they really mean is...
Cabrón, imagínate tú, que tu fucking vecino esté jodiendo de que you need to fucking give him a PS5 for free for their fucking son and shit like that. Y que empieza a hablar mierda y que no, que después están causando un puto drama, todo eso por un... Mira pa'l carajo.
You aren't the one who ruined their kids' Christmas. They're the ones who ruined their kids' Christmas. They're the ones who promised their kid a PS5 when they don't have a PS5 to give. That's just stupid and cruel. Also, I really like this post from Latents. Tell them that you see their point and that you agree that Christmas is a magical time for kids. And we all need to remember those who are less fortunate and work together to make the world a better place. Tell them how glad you are that they brought their son over because it made you think about all the really unfortunate kids who couldn't have the love of a family at Christmas. You were so moved that you donated your PS5 to a children's facility, so instead of just one kid being happy, now a million kids can share the joy of
Damn, that is fucking nice.
Care for them. Thank them for helping you think of the children. Then lock your door and go play your PS5. I'd like to add OP.
Fuck yeah, I know, right? You could just make up a fucking lie. Regardless, why the fuck would you have your neighbor pick up your fucking thing? That's another stupid shit.
Have a sit-down conversation with her fiance and let her know that she is under no situation allowed to sell the PS5 to your neighbors. Because it kind of sounds like your fiance is getting close to breaking.
Do you miss that thrill of a slot machine? With hope that you win the quarantine. Well, listen, every hand, get the thing you need. It's an active freeze called lightning blade.
Our next Reddit post is from Give Me a Break Life. A little context. My